Freedom 35, 5, 5, 5.
Dude, start the podcast.
Wow.
Recording, Gordon?
Gordon.
All right, guys. Well, welcome back to another episode of Freedom 35ers, Cardano NFT podcast, episode 13, technically episode 14 for all the OGs out there. My name is Tommy. I go by TOMMY.
My name is TJ. I go by Lazy T.
And I am the other Tom. I go by Lavish Bear.
And tonight we're joined for our first ever guest podcast appearance by none other than BlakeCNFT. Blake, welcome on to the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. Pleasure.
Dude, it's awesome. It's the first time, I guess, I don't know if in CNFT history or not, man, but podcast, we have an actual collab going on right now, jumping on each other's channels. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you seen that in actually the other spaces yet? Have anybody actually jumping on each other's channels yet? I know we're early in this space, but
I don't think so. Not that I've seen, but there's lots of things that get through my radar with so much going on in Cardano. So I don't want to claim it as the first, but it's probably one of the first.
Hey, we're going to go with it. We're going to roll with like first in the space right here.
Claim it.
It's us here. So yeah, Freedom 35ers, BlakeCNFT, man. Blake, it's awesome to kind of set this up and get a chance to talk with you this week.
For sure.
Jump into our world over here, and the CNFT world. We're all a part of it, so it's fun to be able to get to talk on this kind of formal format for this. But Blake, man, so for our viewers out there, if they haven't got a chance to see you or learn a bit about what you got going on, can you give us a little bit of background about you, what you do, and then kind of how you got into the CNFT world itself?
Sure. Yeah. So the whole crypto thing kind of started last year, December of like 2020. And was talking with a friend because I was kind of jumping into like the whole sports card thing, like Pokemon card stuff. And I was like, oh man, I have some of this, and kind of got into the trading or, kind of jumped into that. And I was texting with a friend and he was like, hey, I'm kind of doing this crypto thing. And I was like, that's so crazy, but like, all right, cool. So like, and it was someone that I trusted. So I was like, all right, I'll do some more research. You always hear about Bitcoin or, the other things. Mm-hmm. So I really started watching stuff and I was like, this is actually like serious. Yeah. And started watching Charles. And anyway, so I had started investing last year in January. So I was kind of pretty new to the CNFT space or the Cardano space. And then basically 2 months after that, Spacebudz launches and you just kind of get thrown into a whole new world. And I'm like, people are spending how much ADA on this? And do they know what ADA is going to be worth in the future? And then, I think like all of us here, like it just, the use case clicks and you're like, oh, wow. Like, that Spacebudz is going to be like the OG project of Cardano. And, the ones that sold for, what a crazy, flip it would have been to go from 50 to, 7,000 ADA, but now you're seeing these massive record breaking sales in the hundreds of thousands.
Right.
But yeah, so I was in it and just kind of watching it, never bought one right away, but did jump into the Cardano bits drop. Nice. And tried to mint 6, and that was a whole, the whole Google Docs, the famous Google Docs story. Mm-hmm. Checked the Excel spreadsheet, had only minted 2, so I was like, dang, I tried to get 6, only minted 2. But then that kind of started the whole journey, and had some. I moved over the summer, so I kind of Cardano and NFTs kind of got pushed in the background. Once I got settled into a house and everything, that kind of came back and was able to spend more time on it, and then. Fast forward to November, and I was like, I have experience kind of doing some podcast stuff. I've kind of made content before, kind of have some marketing skills just from my day job. And I was like, I got to start putting this into Cardano. I have to start. Yeah. I love this community, not just CNFT community, just the Cardano community. And I want to contribute some of the skills that I have. Like I can't code, I can't develop, I can't do a lot of things, but what I can do is I can help be welcoming to new people or give them information or help them do research because, maybe they don't have a lot of time to do it themselves. So maybe I can, in a 10-minute video or in a short interview, I can help catch them up to speed.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my journey so far this year. And it's been crazy and excited for 22 for sure.
Dude. I mean, that's crazy. I didn't realize you were that far back of an OG in the space itself. So you actually got to see Spacebudz mint and you got to be part of that Cardano bits drop and that famous Google Doc. I didn't realize that. That's actually awesome. I didn't actually make it in until about August of this year as I basically got in right after CNFT.io launched. That was kind of my experience into it. And then I kind of started talking to these guys for a while on the side through group texts and through chats. And I think it was the Cardano trees that we had talked about, where it finally I made a decent enough flip on one of those where it got their attention to be like, all right, you're not crazy anymore over here. You're talking,
Yeah, you weren't talking to us about NFTs. You were like sending us pictures and like, look what I bought today, guys. And we're like, all right, Tommy.
Yeah.
Very
Cool.
nice. That's cool, man.
We're texting this night. Tommy's lost it. I don't know what he's
Yeah,
doing.
and then I got a rare tree today. All right, man. Oh, it's worth this much. I'm sorry. Okay, what was that? What was the link for these? How do I sign up?
So that kind of got us
Pokemon
going.
cards too. I mean, because we've said this probably multiple times too, where I think we've all kind of came along that path where it just has so many similarities to growing up and collecting them, and then kind of opening those booster packs and seeing what you get, like as the drop goes, if it's rare or not, and then how much it's worth after that, or with the utilities. It's pretty cool. It's same thing we've said though. It's amazing that your story was somewhat similar.
Still got my binder right next to me in the
Yep.
I still got mine.
So I'm waiting on PSA so I can start, send them in for grading and stuff.
There
like
you
that.
go.
So,
that's my 401k. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
We all thought we were retiring on that stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing was, because I have I'm in CNFTs, so my risk tolerance is higher than almost everybody. But I was like, what is this whole thing going on? And then, one of the OG content creators, Big Pay from the Bloom Pool, he made a video that was like, I made 12,500 ADA flipping Spacebudz in one day. And it was like, a few days after the launch.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way, like, that's so crazy. And so that was kind of just like, wow, so strange. But
it's crazy to hear everybody's stories on here, because I know another person we got a chance to talk to back last year was Fettuccini, who does the Angel Baby Hit Squad. And he told us, he's like, I started with $500 last year. And that was my entry point. He minted in, I forget, it was a Greek Freak from Bizarre Stars that got him into it, because he was big on the NBA Top Shots back then.
Yeah,
jumped right in and minted a few Spacebudz. Two of them actually minted with a Coinbase wallet, so he has two Spacebudz locked away inside of Coinbase.
Yeah, man.
And then he said he made enough flips to basically fund his way into all these different projects with that $500. Eventually, fund the Angel Baby and got to where he's at right now. So it's crazy, the opportunity if you were in early, where you could where most of those people are at now. It's either they're involved deeply in the community, they're heavy collectors, or they're creating their own projects now, it seems.
Yeah, well, and I think that's really cool for any of the listeners that you guys have. It's like anybody that's in this space, it hasn't even been a year yet. Let's just start there.
Right.
But like, you have Alessandro who's minted, did the whole Spacebudz thing. He's a genius, but like, he's making 3% royalties on these 1,000 ADA sales. Like, and I really don't think that's an extreme example. And then Fettuccini's story, I think all of us started, we don't have crazy amounts of money, but it's like, hey, we wanted to mint this, flipped it for this. And, so if you're just starting this thing and you're like, I got, 300 ADA or less, like you can, snowball that if you make some wise choices, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, I think absolutely too, because you're seeing right now, I don't know what it is, there's probably a lot of different factors that can kind of go into this, but this floor prices for everything, there's the volume in general right now over on CNFTs seem to really be taking off. So I think I haven't seen recently a project that has minted, especially on this year, that has been kind of pretty much anticipated to be worth something, has failed yet. Everything seems to be quite a bit above whatever that floor price was that it minted. And that kind of brings me into our first topic on the night too, of a big mint that would happen. The first real big mint of this year, is Bright Pals. And I don't know if you guys were involved. TJ, I know me and you were involved on this, and Blake, I don't know if you got a chance to be there on mint day for this.
I did not.
So heavy scrutiny, right? At Cardano, we always say when Hydra right now, and what's the new process going to be for minting these things? But they did a curveball on everybody last week. There was huge demand for this drop, and literally about 23 minutes before launch time, they decide that they're going to go ahead and, guys, you need to verify and confirm your wallet address and get a DM from the verification bot saying that you got that address confirmed before you can mint. And then specifically in those writing, they said if you go ahead and do it before you get confirmed, you'll be refunded your ADA. And that confused a lot of people, because the actual confirm channel actually opened up 10 minutes before the drop was supposed to happen. So that was a curveball. And so everybody was confirming addresses, and mint time happened. And then what happened to you, TJ? Because you were the rule follower, weren't you?
I got punished for following the rules. So I loaded the day list up, ready to go. I'm like, I told my wife, can you watch the baby for a little bit? I got to go in for 10 minutes. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to copy and paste everything. I'm sitting there looking at the screen. I'm like, he hasn't DM'd me yet. So I sent my address like 3 times to verify, to confirm it. Still nothing. At like 4:02, Tommy texted me. He goes, screw it, I just send it, whatever. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm gonna send mine too. Then of course I got refunded. So I feel like people got punished for following the rules. Now I still like the art. Don't get me wrong, I still do. I probably will go back and mint one once I get enough ADA. But it just sucks that people got punished for following what they said. Because like, you know what, whatever, just send it in now because the bot broke pretty much in the Discord. So
Is that what happened? Like, because you got one, Tommy. Did you get confirmed?
I bought on secondary, actually. I did not.
Okay.
I got, so my story was the time happened and I confirmed same thing as well. And time went through and I didn't care. I was like, you know what, screw this rule. This isn't working. As soon as the thing came, I sent like, but the problem was, as TJ, we said, I got home and my data list was at 99.6% loading. And I'm like, no. So I ended up having to go with my NAMI.
I had my wife loaded up before I got home. I told her at 12 o'clock, just turn on my computer, turn on data list, get it ready to go. I literally told her to do this for me. It was already set up, ready to go.
If I told that to my wife, she'd be like, what are you talking about?
Right.
I said, click on the green bullets. I separated from all the other icons. I separated it just so she has to click that right side, bottom right of the computer, click on the data list.
Mine was, hey, honey, I'm coming home right now. She's like, I need you to go on my computer and click on this bowl that's green. And she goes, what? And I'm just do it. And I was like FaceTiming and we popped her on and unfortunately my data list did not sync in time. So I was forced to mint with NAMI. I sent right at the time and they put a tweet out exactly right after everything. And they're like, Discord server bot crashed. We have to push the transactions through. Sorry for the inconvenience. And then kind of went like silent for a second. Everybody just, like clown shit. It was just me, Discord was very, been not in a good light for that. And rightfully so, like there was a lot of people looking into getting to that drop. And unfortunately, my NAMI at this point, I don't know. I used to be able to lightning fast my NAMI when I first had it. Now it took me, I think, like 27 minutes to confirm my transaction. So I got refunded too on that. And
there was a data list though.
Yeah, you got through, which is nice. But it's
still didn't even bother sending. I never got the confirmation. Me and Months, we just didn't even bother to try and send it through because it was just like watching it. And like you said, Tommy, usually in the Discord, if something, especially for a drop day, if something bad happens, it can still be pretty mixed. Like the emoji response they get, there's still enough people supporting. I was sitting there watching that one. They were like overwhelmingly coming in with the clown shit emoji.
They were hammering
like all this stuff. Yeah, people were just like, no one was really coming to support because it just wasn't even working. It was just broken and no one was getting it.
Well, to me, I guess my take on this, especially in this world of CNFTs and the demand that they're going to start to come, is, dude, you can't make an off the cuff like change like that last minute and think that you're, to everybody who is looking ready to buy, like you had to have tested that first. You can't just go ahead and Discord bot that last minute and then expect that to go perfect. I don't know your thoughts on that too.
Well, I have an interesting question because I follow Alessandro, who's the creator of Spacebudz, because I think people have just kind of followed. That was just his thing that he did with Spacebudz was, here's how we do the mint. The network was completely different in March.
Oh yeah.
And now people have just kind of been like, that's just kind of the way it's been. So we're just going to keep doing this first come, first serve. If you have data list, great. If you don't, you're kind of out of luck, basically. Yep. What do you guys think is the best way to do a mint now? ADA handle's kind of given us a little window, but that also had some pushback. Like what do you guys think? I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
I think
we got what's it called coming up is going to be a raffle. I know we're going to talk about this later. And at first, when I hear raffle, because one, I've never won a lot of raffles, I don't like the idea of it. It feels like when I send in maybe through my NAMI, I have more control because I'm like rushing to copy first. But really, probably it's about even, and it's even more so the raffle is kind of even odds across everyone, where my NAMI is like dependent on so many things like my connection, my computer, just how NAMI is working at the time compared to, like you said, if you're using Daedalus or ccvault now. So I'm going to see how this raffle goes. It almost sounds like, I know some other servers or some drops have done that in the past with like limited raffles where you kind of send in the ADA and pay, and then they choose. That kind of seems like a way to make it work right now until they get an actual system in place where it's like with the smart contract system version.
Well, I like that too, just because it gets the wallet distribution more, so more people can have that one NFT or that one project versus just that one wallet have like 30 of them because they have a node and they could just get in the system and get it faster, So I think it just makes it fair across the board for everyone. So if I don't get the raffle, I mean, that's the luck of the draw, honestly. I mean, it's just whatever. But I think the raffle probably is going to be the new norm, in my opinion, especially if you have a Discord server with like double the amount of the mints you're going to do. It's only fair to do the raffle that way. I think
Right.
Happy Hoppers did a pretty good way too. I like their
Yeah.
style of minting as well. Thought that was cool because then you were guaranteed it was just a stress-free mint. You had 24 hours the first wave, then 24 hours the next wave. It was just a nice way to mint. You didn't stress about which wallet you were using, rushing home to get the data list going, stressing about pulling over to use your Roy. I've experienced doing that, missed a bunch of drops.
We all have, right?
But I just think it's just a fair way to give people a chance to get something versus just stressing about which wallet you have to get there first.
I would argue I was very happy with the way Happy Hoppers did their mint as well, and it was nice to be whitelisted and then know that you were going to get it. But the only difference with the Happy Hoppers versus Soho Kids or one of these other big ones that are coming up is that Happy Hoppers did not exceed their whitelist signups compared to the past the mint demand. So I think they had like another like 11,000 or 10,000 of them still to mint, and the whitelist signups only had like 7,000 signups, and there were still 11,000 to go. So everybody who whitelisted at that point was guaranteed to get in. But they did mention on that if you had exceeded that and they actually got past that 11,000 or whatever it been, then it would have went into that lottery system as well, which we are seeing now, which we will be discussing in this episode on Soho Kids. So I mean, the raffle, I think TJ, weren't you actually in one of those as well with Grumpy Bunny early on for maybe his series 2 drop? Did he do something along those lines?
We were both in that. You paid in and they just chose like so many out of everyone that paid.
Right.
Yeah.
So you had a 10-minute window at a certain time to send ADA through. And then they randomly picked they randomly picked addresses within the 10-minute block, whoever sent them over. And then that's who got sent back the Grumpy Bunny. Of course, I was a Grumpy Bunny because I didn't get one, but I woke up early for it. But yeah, that was another way to do it too. But I think that would still load the blockchain if they did it that way now, because there'd be so much congestion in 10 minutes if someone did that drop again.
I think there's two things at play too when you get into this kind of thing, is that the main point of these big drops, what they're trying to do obviously is do it a fair way, but also not kill the blockchain at the same time. Those are the two things that everybody's trying to solve. So I don't know what the best solution is right now. I think the whitelist, I like the idea, which we'll talk about here in a little while as well, of maybe, the early adopters who are in the Discord early, like closing off the Discord after a certain, a certain channel. Like you could even say the first 10,000 members in our Discord are guaranteed a mint. And anybody who doesn't, if we don't exceed, the sellout and during a certain period, we can go ahead and open it up to the public. I think that may be, you're going to start to see a lot more closed Discords, I think, coming up here as these big drops. And the one obviously that I'm going to be looking at is obviously Pavia for their next land sale. I think that's going to have a ridiculous amount of demand into it as well. So Blake, I don't know, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's just hard to know. I think some people think that it's pretty fair to just be like, I'm just going to rush in. And I think for the average person, including myself, I think the bots are really, like the nodes or the bots, like someone can, just swipe 50 and then, they're just sitting really nice on secondary, just selling for 5x. But it is frustrating to maybe be first in the Discord and then you join this raffle and it's like, you didn't get it. I know, early Top Shot, and it's probably still the same way. You would have a window to get in to enter this, and then they would basically scramble, all the however many people were in there, and then it was like, you're in queue, you're 90,000 in queue, but there's only 70,000 of the top shots, and you're like, well, I guess that's it, unless people jump out of the line before it's their turn. So that seems to be the raffle, or kind of the draw, put everything in a bag and pull out random numbers seems to be the only way to actually do it fairly, even though it doesn't seem fair sometimes.
Yeah, I think
if I don't get picked, it's not fair.
Right.
Exactly.
That's the key, right? I do like the incentive for maybe like an early adopters for the the Discord members who are joining, because if you were there first and you discovered it and you've been active in the community and you've been doing all this stuff, and then you get these guys, or like you say, they call them the moon boys these days, but some of those guys jumping in and saying, look at this new project, and everybody rushes in just for last minute, but they somehow either have data lists or something that can outbeat you on that, and they are the ones that take that. You were the early supporter. I think that kind of sucks a little bit too for those guys who were there from the beginning, and maybe that just wanted to be involved in the project and not necessarily there to quick flip it like some of these other guys. I think you got to find a balance probably between the two.
Well, I think if maybe projects do the thing like first 1,000 or 1,500 in the Discord are automatically guaranteed a whitelist spot or an NFT. I think that might make it fair. Obviously, if you're a bot, you don't get it, but if they could verify that they're a real person or whatever, they could be guaranteed that mint. Because you're right, if you're in the Discord early and you don't get that raffle ticket, I'll be a little upset, honestly. Like, man, I've been an active community member, I'm chatting with you guys, and I don't get a ticket. I'd be pretty upset.
Oh, you guys have been heartbroken if you didn't get your happy hoppers.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
pretty upset.
Yeah.
I'm
You guys ran that from the beginning,
pushing whale
yeah.
status on Happy Hoppers right now. I love that project, but yeah.
Well,
but,
I know there was a lot of hate on ADA handle, but sorry, I'll throw that over. Well, I know there's a lot of hate on ADA handle, but that was still a little element of like speed, because you're like, put in your email, you know, and then the emails had difficulty sending if you had Gmail or certain types of outlooks, but that was still a little bit of speed. And I'm in a situation where I can kind of watch email a little bit more closely. So I was able to kind of get the buy windows when I had them, but that was an interesting mix of like speed to get your email in and go through the steps. And then your spot was saved in first come, first serve order. You just had to be ready when it was your turn. But
I was getting up like every hour that night checking my phone.
Yeah,
I was going to say I was there at 12 o'clock on the dot on that Saturday, I think it was, when they actually dropped those for that last one. The only thing I had a big gripe with is like, you are now 3 away from, and I'm like 3 minutes, 3 hours, 3 days. It did not specify in the
3
email.
units, Tommy. 3 units of time.
So I'm sitting there and I literally re-downloaded the Gmail app on my phone so I could get push notifications again, because my other piece of like mail was not pushing to my phone, just so I could get that window. And I'm like, I got 10 minutes to do that. And the big gripe everybody had was that you were almost glued to your phone or computer for the day, waiting for that email. So if they had sent it in a timely manner of that email being accurate, I could see that. So there's definitely, I'm sure they're going to watch for their next drop and how they're going to do that. But I agree, the email thing's a different way. I've also seen the Q method, which I remember, Tom, we had talked about doing, it's David King with the ADA dolls. At one point they were using, I don't know if it was Buffy bot or what it was, but you would basically click in and it would queue you up. And if you had multiple windows open, I found out the hard way that you can't do that. And it would auto take you to the last like place in line, the last window you had open. So there's a lot of different
dummies. They've done a couple like queue type thing, reservations on their site. Those are great as long as the website doesn't crash and everything doesn't break. But I do like that style as well. I know that one drop you got me and Chris on, Tommy. I forget what it was. You had to do the reservation link, because TJ, you actually got the link for
that was $8.
That was $8. Okay, yeah, that's the one we got in on. And that works great as long as it doesn't break and the website doesn't crash and disconnect, everything runs well. It does work really well. And if you are first, then you do kind of get rewarded, because you're going to get your spot when you click reserve, and everything works smooth in those. It just seems to be like the website's crashing.
So I think that there's going to be a lot of different ways and different things that come up, obviously, and get innovated this year. So that's going to be something interesting to see, and we'll get to experience that firsthand this week coming up with Soho Kids. But so there's going to be a lot of people this year who are late to the game, and some of these bigger blue chip projects that you want to, the Spacebudz, the Clays, Dead Pixels, all these bigger projects that even Boss Cat and all those, the new ones that come in, they're not able to mint those things, right? And they're going to miss out, but they want to be able to own, a piece of that or be a part of those different things. So one thing that Blake, we had actually talked a little bit prior to jumping onto this, and actually I did a little bit more research in last night, were DAOs, the CNFT DAOs and just DAOs in general, and specifically Rats DAO. And Blake, do you want to kind of give us a little bit of information on this? I guess it's giving an opportunity for the average person to go ahead and be able to get into these blue chip projects.
Yeah. So just some of the information I know is, I kind of saw them in mid-December tweeting out just different things, and they were starting their account. They were kind of following everybody. And they followed me, and I was like, what's this Rats DAO? I kind of knew what a decentralized autonomous, at least a very, very basic version of what a decentralized autonomous organization is. And basically, for those that don't know, it's a group of people who pool their money together into some type of wallet. And then the community makes majority decisions on what to do with the funds inside that wallet. And so when I saw the Rats DAO, I was like, oh, what's this all about? And on their Twitter, it was, what they're going to do is they're going to buy blue chips, CNFT blue chips, and then fractionalize those for their holders. And I was like, DM me, I need to learn more about this. And so I guess they must have bought a berry, because that
I was just going to say that as we're getting it, I don't want to jump into the middle of that, but that was one of the governing decisions this morning, or today. They were asking about the cardinal berry, was one of the ones they wanted to purchase. So
incredible.
I got exposed to. Sorry, you want to go ahead?
No, we'll just I was like, you guys got to DM me. So they sent me a message back right away, and they're like, hey, let's talk about this. And they seem very knowledgeable, team out of South America, I believe. And they have a strong team. They have a podcast in Spanish, Bitcoin for everyone.
Cool.
So they have like 100 episodes or something. They have a big kind of Bitcoin podcast. And so, you know, I was talking to them about it, and I think it's really great for people who, you know, obviously can't afford, you know, if almost 6,000 ADA Spacebud, or, you know, a Claymate even, or a berry. Nobody here can afford a berry, but can you own a part of a berry? And they're not going to pay out in ADA, but they're going to pay out in their native $ Rats token. And then that it'll be determined on what that value will be. But I think there's plans to be able to, you know, go into a SundaeSwap or a MuesliSwap and eventually exchange that for ADA at some point. So you'll be earning, if you're staking your token, you'll be able to earn some of those Rats tokens. So it's a really interesting idea. And now you're going to see, I'm just calling it, there's going to be hundreds of DAOs coming in the future just because of the incredible sale they've had.
So that you got me kind of inspired last night, just thinking about it prior to us going on. And we ended up doing our space that we were content creator space we're kind of a part of right now and getting more involved, is the CNFT Taco Tuesday with like J Crypto, Cardano, Poppy, and the Hidden Order. And what they were talking about, they actually had a guest, like an impromptu guy, come in last night for this guy named Pneumonium, with the Pneumonium skulls. I don't know if you have seen those yet, but that is also another DAO. And they started talking and kind of explaining a little bit about it. And then my mind automatically went back, well, what's Rats DAO? You know, I know they're you told me, hey, we're minting something tomorrow. And so I did a lot more research into it. I got the conversation flowing from them, and it just kind of clicked. It's like, okay, I have the ADA if I want to sell some of my other blue chip stuff to get into Spacebudz, but I'm not necessarily wanting to part with those things too. So I'm not going to do that. So how can I go ahead and actually own some of these bigger things? And especially like a berry, like that'd be a dream, I think, of everybody to kind of inspire to get one of those. But here's the great way to, and then it's almost like you become like a business, like partner with these other random people throughout the, you know, the blockchain that all have kind of a common interest, right? And the cool thing about the Rats DAO is that it's the first CNFT DAO, right? Like they're going after blue chip and CNFTs. That's their goal.
Yeah.
And it's awesome that it's decentralized, right? And the word DAO, decentralized autonomous organization, that's a word that I knew before yesterday. Not at all. Had no clue what that was. Yeah, to be honest with you. So I just learned what I meant now. Yeah, I'm sitting there reading their thing, right? But yeah, so blue chip CNFT investors, you're going to definitely see more of these. And I think Rats DAO, they actually, you know, they minted 1,000 of these things for the Genesis holders, correct?
Yeah.
And then from those 1,000, they were minting another 9,000 after that for their governance token NFT. So they're doing a mint, the last 9,000 and 3,000 batches. So today was a mint of 3,000 of them for 100 ADA that you were able to jump into. And then I don't know when the next drop is, but they'll have 2 more of those to finish out the last 6,000 of those.
And the Genesis tokens the airdrop will be 10 times greater than just the DAO member.
Let's see if I can pull that for you too. So so this is an example of one of the Genesis ones over there, which you can notice that most of the Genesis ones will have that little G kind of belt buckle between the different ones, and they all have some fun artwork to it as well. I opted to go for a laser eye one just because I didn't have anything that has laser eyes in any of my CNFTs. So the Genesis ones, right, they get dropped 5,000 of the Rat tokens. And then the governance tokens get dropped 555 of them, I believe. So those are the tokens. Yeah, airdrop. For the Rats token. Yeah. So that's going to be, and then those airdrops for those tokens will actually take place after all 10,000 of them have been minted, is what I'm understanding. So, if I don't know if you guys have jumped into the Discord, Blake, did you jump into this? I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. So when I talked to them in early December, I was the 45th member in their Discord, and I think it's close to 5,000 now. Really? It was really funny because they minted in serial number order. So 001 was the first person to buy. So I was actually still on the sidelines because like I said before, I'm a little bit, risk averse. And I was like, there's not a lot of people in here. 100 ADA, that's a big mint. Oh, yeah. You don't normally see that unless you're going to mint an equine or something. But I was like, all right, I'll mint one, and I got number 69, so I'll probably be able to sell that for a premium. So just the classic, nice. So I minted one, and then the mint was going on for a week or two probably for the first 1,000, and then I saw on Pool PM start to pick up sales. Some other people were starting to hear about it, so I minted a second one so I could do the flip and get some of my initial investment back. So but yeah, it's been fun to kind of watch their progress and see them do it. So it's cool.
You guys are both Rats?
These,
Yep.
yeah. So we're both the
both
Rat Pack
rats.
right now.
And I was able to get one today. That was a weird drop as well.
That was
They
definitely
tried to
weird.
go through NFT maker,
Yep.
and people complain about the Cardano blockchain going down, but no website can survive
No,
an
not at
NFT
all.
drop, even on
Not at
Ethereum.
all.
So it's just funny. But yeah, so they tried to do it through NFT maker, and too many requests, and so they just posted the address in the announcements page of the Discord.
Yes. And then blockchain, I know for me, in my experience, I was trying to mint with Nami on mine. Transaction didn't go through, and luckily enough, we have the ccvault now on the phone, so I was able to, I actually had the web page up, because if you were eventually the NFT after they dropped that address, NFT maker's website finally came back online because the traffic died down on it. So I was able to actually click on one, get the actual QR link. And originally the plan for them was once you were able to get that web page open, you had a 60-minute window to go ahead and be able to it was supposed to be stress-free, right? And you were guaranteed to go ahead and get one of those things. So they did put a tweet out or announcement out after the address was printed, and said, if you manage to mint through the website, you're guaranteed to get your NFT. So in my mind, I'm like, it's been 20 minutes already and my transaction still hasn't gone through. I'm probably going to be late right now, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. I had the thing open, had 40 minutes left on the timer, and I sent mine in as well. And sure enough, they literally posted an update, we're sold out. And luckily, I think I must have made that window and cut, and I got mine as well. Yeah, it was definitely, it was very scary. I was very stressed for the first 30 minutes of that drop.
Yeah, and I mean, they get so much exposure because it's like, hey, the DAO has just bought a shark Spacebudz, and it's like, holy crap, that's a lot of money. And every new purchase, a Claymate or a Spacebudz, that's like, wait, what are they doing? And then they, that just kind of draws more people in to be like, this is really cool idea.
Well, it's also awesome because, again, it's decentralized, right? So everybody has a say inside of there. If you hold one of these things, you can get to a verified chat inside the Discord, and they do voting rights. They do what they post when they move stuff over wallets. They kind of explain where everything's going, what's being invested, and you have a direct say to even have a chat in there that basically is like, okay, what should we be targeting next? What's the group's opinion on this? And then they go to take a vote on different things like that. So I think that's such a cool thing, and it's fun when you actually have access to be like, yeah, guys, we want to go after this Spacebudz, or hey, you know what, Dead Pixels, we really want to go ahead and buy one of the vampires over there because I think those are going to do really well here. So yeah, let's make a move on that. And it's kind of cool. You can all round table with all these different people who you don't really know, but at the same time, you guys are all invested in the same kind of the same mindset of what you guys want. And I think that's such a cool idea for what DAOs are. And like you said, Blake, I think you're going to start to see a lot more of these pop up here soon. Yeah.
Well, and I think there's a piece actually that's missing on the Cardano side, which is multi-signature wallets.
Yes.
And so, it is a decentralized, but I think technically the people who started the DAO have, because we don't have multi-signature wallets yet on Cardano. Yeah. So it's technically, bought and sold by one person, and he's a good actor. So he's doing it with the intentions of the community. But yeah, so that multi-signature, when that happens, and they're working on developing that and all that, but that's another element that needs to be put in here as well.
I did believe, I think I saw they were actually working with the ADA DAO to go ahead and partner up for those with the smart contracts to be able to do that. I just saw that announcement. I think that came through today. So that was actually kind of cool because I was in the Discord again. And I'm like, you were probably seeing that they were talking about buying a berry in the Cardinal. And then I hadn't even looked in the Discord since we're getting ready to do this podcast right now. And sure enough, their profile picture right now is the berry.
That's
so
amazing.
Assuming they went through with it. So
that's going to bring in so much more exposure too.
Oh my God. Yeah. So, I mean, TJ and Tom, what are your guys' thoughts on something like a decentralized organization like this that's buying these kind of projects? Is this something that you guys want to get in? Is this something that you guys are just like, it doesn't really matter to me?
Well, I don't know if I'll jump in myself, but I definitely see the reasoning behind it. Especially like you said, if you wanted to buy a Spacebudz and flip some things right now, you could, but a Spacebudz is not a project you'd be looking to flip right away. It'd be something you'd buy to hold on to as an investment. So that would eat up so much of your, current ADA supply of your wallet, or selling things that you may not want to part with yet just to get it, just to have something to sit on, or this is a way you can spend some money that you have. Or I think, if you flip a couple things recently, especially with how hot the market is right now and how many projects are coming back, make a little money on some things, and then you can get a part of it. And then also, like you said, join the community and be a part of that as well, which is what Cardano is big on. A lot of people to meet and kind of be introduced to new things and share new projects with. So I'm sure that'll come out of it. Now you guys are in that Discord. I'm sure people will be active with the new things they're getting in on, or new projects to look at as your group, but then you can get in personally too. So I like the idea. It's a cool idea. It's not something I'd ever heard of either until yesterday.
Right.
I mean, I kind of want to get in on it, honestly. If I can flip some stuff, I'll probably will purchase a Genesis one. I'm not gonna lie.
TJ's a rat too.
I'm a rat. I want to be a rat.
It's a tall floor right now.
I know.
It is. I didn't see it last night. It was like 800 something plus. I don't know.
Was it now? I can't see it now because OpenSea was broken for me. So I don't know.
I have no idea. I
think it was around 800. Yeah.
Is it still 800? So, okay. Yeah. I mean, I like the concept of it too. I mean, like Tom was saying, you guys are saying it's cool to have a part of all those blue chip projects. Now, I do have to ask about the airdrops. I don't know if you guys mentioned this or not. Are they airdropping these projects to holders? Are they just holding it in a wallet saying, hey, everyone owns this Yummi or this Claymate or this Spacebudz? Are they airdropping that? Or are they just leaving it in the wallet as the holders of the rats?
Yeah, they leave it all in the wallet. From what I understand, everybody go do your research, but I think they hold it all in the wallet, and then for whatever, however many rats you have or a Genesis token, then that gets calculated, and then you get paid out only in rats.
Gotcha.
So you don't get paid in ADA, you don't actually get a Spacebudz. But then also when it comes to secondary markets, I think it's 10% royalties.
Yes.
They keep 3, and then 7 goes back into the community wallet. So all those secondary sales that have been happening just adds to the bag of the community, and then they can just go and buy more stuff.
Right.
I'd be curious to see what that rats token actually equals once they airdrop it and goes to all the SundaeSwap or SundaeSwap, just to see what actually converts to. I'd be kind of cool to see that as well.
Because I think there's a 5 million supply of them is what it's going to end up being, where people are going to get the first 1,000 get 5,000, and then the last 9,000 get 555.
Yep.
That's what I believe it is.
Yep.
Yeah. So again, if that's a highly sought after token, that was kind of what the discussion was for Pneumonium, the skulls right now, because I only believe there was like 60 of them or something along those lines. And the floor was sitting at like 2,500 ADA last night, and then it jumped to like 4,000. But they had released, if you go in on, ADA.muesli-swap, they actually had the skulls token on that. And that skulls token, it was already valued at like 0.13 ADA. And a lot of those guys had already gotten airdropped some of that stuff. Like Cardano Pavia said he had like 13,000 of them already just dropped with that 0.13. Wow. He's like, dude, can you imagine if this goes up? He goes, these guys who were in early, they now, like I said, same thing for Pavia landholders as well. If you were in early on that, you're sitting at a nice reward right now.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. It's a dope. I like the concept of it. And Blake, I'm glad we got a little chance to chat yesterday on that, because I got a little, it just happened to be like perfect timing hearing about that and talking to you. And then this mint has being today, because it was completely off my radar, to be honest with you. And I hadn't really thought about it. So I was lucky enough to jump in and,
they also have new ones like mint for 100. Like they're going to keep the price at 100. So if you can get it on the next 3,000 batch drop, then you can go for the Genesis, which is a good play, I guess. But yeah, if you want to just try to get in, I want the entry 100 ADA one,
That's not bad. And I actually select, I think the floor is sitting around like 175 right now for those additional ones. And then, the other ones are sitting
just keep in mind for the 10% royalty. So, 170, correct. But then you get, chop 10% off of that.
Right.
So you're not going to get that much.
Yeah. So again, it's something there. It's a cool, I like the way that DAOs are kind of starting to take off. And I like that that's the first one. I don't know why they chose rats. I don't know if there's a backstory to that.
Because Charles's Twitter profile is King of the Rats.
Got it. Okay.
He also has a rats stake pool.
Oh, right. Okay. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes more sense to me.
I don't get it either, but rat isn't the animal that you're like, yeah, I want this to be my token,
But at least they have some cool artwork for those rats, right? Like they have some dope. I like the way they did the art. So that's such a cool topic. And then obviously everything just liquidity moving around inside the CNFT space right now, everybody's having opportunities to jump into new projects and a lot of different things. But something obviously that we've been doing over here on our channel has been the Metaverse kind of update each week. But at this point, it feels like it's almost like the Pavia update coming through right now, because dude, I don't know if you guys, I'm sure everybody's gotten a chance, at least on our side, to go ahead and actually see this, but Pavia over the last week has been an insane amount of volume, an insane amount of gain, insane amount of hype, everything that you can think of. This thing has been blowing up, man.
I think their new release of their final drop, I feel like their mint price is going to be 200 plus easy, and I think they'll get it just because the floor for the first two releases is what 900 floor right now for just one parcel of land.
We're at 850. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, if they listed it, what was the minting price originally? 40, 50?
37 for the first mint of the first sale of, I think it was 29,000 it was. And then the second land sale was 45 ADA.
Right. So, I mean, they're probably like, man, I mean, the secondary has these listed for 800 plus. We could easily list that for 200. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if they are. I think somebody I'd seen at least throughout the Discord floating around, they were going to stick to that 45 ADA plot.
I hope so. I hope they do.
I think they will.
They're the ones though. Like, I'm curious, have they announced how their draw process is going to go? Because I know that was a huge thing with stage 2 where they sold out so fast, but everyone's like, this was a big problem with bots. Bots just absolutely ran wild with this and bought everything up.
That was where it first became like really apparent that like nobody thought that, right? Whether it was their 30, how many land sales, or was it 39,000 and 20? Yeah, 39,000 of them, I think it was, on that second drop. And nobody thought those were going to sell out instantly. But that was right around like the Thanksgiving time, because that was during me. I actually popped on my data list for that one and was fortunate enough to mint an estate at that time by grouping that together. But dude, most people, like you said, got botted out of that thing, and that was where it was apparent that the send first come first serve like model really was broken at that point for high demand. So they're very that's kind of why they almost at that point, if you guys remember, they were like, should we just open up all of them to the last 100,000 of them and just sell out? And everybody was freaking out. They're like, no, like absolutely not, don't do that. So they're definitely under high scrutiny right now for this next land drop, which, if we just got an announcement this week or the other day, is that they're actually the second or the last land sale is going to be likely in early February, is what they're saying right now. So Blake, I don't know how much of a fan are you, if you're invested at all or just looking at Pavia from the outside. I know, what's your take on all this hype right now?
Yeah. So I do a weekly market update on my channel, BlakeCNFT. And basically since I started, back in November, so I've done, I think this was going to be my 7th week of the weekly market update. Pavia had been at 300 ADA for basically that entire time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was funny because like, I don't make all the calls right, but last week I was like, if you have been waiting to get into Pavia, 300 is your number, because it was literally consolidating for 6 weeks at 300.
Yes.
And then you just see it skyrocket and get some press, from other news outlets and stuff, and Pavia token taken off on a SundaeSwap. So it was just time.
That was the big thing in the Catalyst event, I think, too. Obviously, outside of just, everybody kind of in the CNFT space in general was starting to kind of take off. And but big news, like major news outlets started covering Pavia over there, and including CoinDesk, I think even was one of the more recent bigger ones as well. I thought I saw Forbes Forbes had an article out about it as well. And then of course, which we talk about here, the Moon Boys, the guys over on NFT Update or whatever those guys are on the east side that are promoting CNFTs right now. They were like, I'm super bullish on this. So you had all kind of different audiences looking at Pavia right now. And dude, it was just a matter of time. I just didn't realize it was going to be this quick with Pavia for me. The floor to me, which is insane. Like it literally jumped, like you said, Blake, from 300. It was sitting like hover. It jumped finally after like about a day. It was sitting like 420 to 450. And then the next day it was 800 plus.
It jumped like 100 a day. It was crazy.
It jumped so quick. And then over the last day, like you said, at one point it was sitting at like 900 today.
Yeah.
Which is insane to me.
The token too. The tokens. I mean, TJ, have you got your Pavia token yet? Have you got your?
Yeah, I got a little bit, not a lot.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
the Pavia token too was.
Yeah, that's been doing really well though. It's was it 0.06 the first time we looked at it? I think
0.5, 0.056 or something like that. It was something crazy.
Yeah. We put a video out, like I said, last back early December, or it was in December from our last podcast last year, and it was sitting at like 0.05 ADA or whatever it was on there. And we put out a clip out there just to kind of the storm kind of took off, and we jumped out there, and I think that like tripled or quadrupled our views off that one video alone. So the demand was insane. But you're looking at the price right now, which is 0.18 ADA. It's insane to me that demand that is more than tripled since we're in 19 days into January right now. That's so crazy to me. I just never expected. I knew it had a chance to do something. I just didn't expect it to jump as quick as it is, because even at ADA sitting at $1, I don't know, we're in $1.30s. I think it dropped back down to right now.
That's probably one project I really do wish I was there early on, and like I wish I minted the first 2 releases, because just even getting that free airdrop of 8,000 per parcel you own, that's just insane. Just to think of the price of it now. It's crazy.
I wasn't expecting it to go up this fast, Tom, because it doesn't do anything yet. Like maybe as they show more of their game and like a proof of like their concept and like, hey, this is how this is going to be applied within our world and what it's going to buy or how you're going to make more of it, or if there's play to earn or anything, then people would really start like, okay, let's start getting in on this early because it's going to have use. But right now it's just been a couple videos and some like screenshots, and it's gone up this fast in 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think you know, from the airdrop holders, like you said, if you were in early, I randomly on the first alignment just happened to be there and was just kind of aping in everything at that point. Still jumped in, just bought a couple plots and left out. Ended up getting the estate, which was fine.
You were sneak buying. No, you
always sneak buying.
You're sneak buying. You
Yeah.
were buying stuff and not letting us know. He does this a lot, Blake.
Well, I didn't buy it because I was told because I was a U.S. citizen I couldn't buy.
Oh,
like,
dude.
That's what Tommy said
I don't know
too.
why I listened to that.
I'll go on
so
record
stupid.
that I didn't listen to that at all.
I shouldn't have. I should have known better. But
Well,
Tommy's actually from the Caribbean.
yeah.
Yeah, I was yeah, my VPN was
Yeah, he's got his
LinkedIn
passport
over
says
at it.
Bahamas on it.
No, I don't know. Like I said they gave warnings to like the UK and the US at that time.
I remember one of the podcasts you're like, Tom, make sure my wallet's not on there because we weren't supposed to really buy in the US.
I after a while that you sit back, and it's not that it's illegal to buy here. You know, we don't know if it will be. You know, it could be. They could later determine that it's illegal. Or as of right now, I mean, nothing's going to happen to you. And I can tell you, majority
it's still basically
people
at the end of the day, it's an NFT or an art because the metaverse is not out yet.
This to me, this is not an investment. You know, it's not like I'm looking at this as a value of land. To me, right now, I'm looking at it as something that I can use to like build on in a virtual world, like right now, right?
Yeah,
like
come on, SEC. I just bought this to look at in my nano frame. That's all I got.
Yeah.
IRS has joined the podcast.
Really good on my nano frame.
Mr. Taxman's coming to say,
Mr.
hey,
Taxman.
Yeah. No, I think, like you said, Tom, it is all based on hype and speculation. And obviously, they haven't really put out anything other than some hype and an announcement, right? You literally are sitting on a virtual, I think, what's his name? Monad Alexander from Unsigs, the creator of him. He always gets shade. He always kind of shades these projects of like selling you digital like real estate and plots. And it, you know, it's nothing against Pavia or any of these guys, because I do believe that they have something here. It's just like you said, if tomorrow if they wanted to say, you know what, we're going to do 1 million of these and you guys are going to have to be okay with it, you know, they can do that, right? And they don't have to sell you, you know, they can do whatever they want right now. So you're just trusting that this project is going to do what it says it does, and you're looking at the hypes of like a Decentraland and a Sandbox, and
that's why it makes
other
sense.
Metaverses.
Yeah, those projects with what they've done, and like Blake, like you said, like 300 is this early for the metaverse on the Cardano side. We've talked about it, Tommy. I know you said it, I think the past 2 weeks, where Pavia is just so clearly farther ahead than the other, at least metaverse projects that have come out, or land projects or real estate projects on Cardano so far. That if you're coming in with all the attention that's have gotten right now, this is the one you would get into if you think you want to get in on something early. I mean, maybe one of the other ones overtake it, but just looking at it is now and how everything lies, this would be the one that like this has the most potential for the future. So it makes sense that you're seeing all this with the token and the land sales itself. I mean, I think even I think your parents are landowners in Pavia, aren't they?
They are actually. Yeah. So because I've been talking about this for months, and Blake, I don't know if you have similar experiences with either friends, family, or anybody at all. Like they're eventually like, all right, you're doing something over there. I want to know a little bit about it. My parents were kind of interested, and they were, you know, pretty much were like, you know, if you want to jump into something, you know, this has a lot of potential. I don't know what it's going to do, but here you go. And was able to get them a plot prior to the airdrop. So they got dropped 8,333 of those coins. And you look at the value of Pavia right now, sitting at 0.18 ADA. I mean, you know, I told them, I was like, you worth $1,200 right now, just kind of for free. So it's still, like I said, the E word is starting to become like a no inside the CNFT community. You're early. Stop saying we're early, right?
Well, technically, I mean, Pavia still is early. I saw someone post just today, and I'm don't know the exact numbers he said, but he said, so basically Pavia's in US dollars is 1,500 to mint if you want a secondary, basically.
Yeah.
And Decentraland and Sandbox are literally $15,000 if you want to get in. So that's how early in comparison to these metaverses we really are on this side.
And it's important to note, because everybody right now, yes, Decentraland and Sandbox are doing really well and they have a great value to this, but it's important to note for Cardano holders as well, as they've had 4 years in development. Some of those other ones back in 2017 is when they had gotten started. So us, you know, we're, like I said, you're early, but in reality, you really are. And it's not, and I don't know if necessarily, I know they have big goals to get everybody inside the metaverse at the end of this year. But that's not even a guarantee yet. So you may not even be able to step foot into this until possibly 2023.
I'd rather them take their time, honestly. I don't want them to rush it.
Yeah, and you want that. If you're an investor into a project like this, you're hoping, like you said, it does become that. But it's important to note, like, this isn't going to happen overnight. And that next land sale is going to be obviously a huge hot topic inside the Cardano space in general. So I don't know. Like you said, we can talk about mint styles and mint drops. They're going to be under heavy scrutiny, and I'm very curious to see what kind of land drop. I would assume it would have to be some sort of a lottery system in that one, because there's no way, with all the eyes and attention on side of this, there's no way anybody's going to be able to, you can't do an old method. It's going to have to be something legit.
48,000 Twitter followers. That's
right. Are they at 48,000 these days? Like, I know we always do an update on that. So I think we started covering them back when they were right around like 10,000. It was 10,000, dude.
Right.
So it's the growth it's experienced over the last few weeks and months has been insane. So big shouts to Pavia and Pavia, however you want to go ahead and describe them. But I think this mint price right here, it's insane. I don't know if this demand will drop off as well, because you also have a big catalyst event, which we'll talk about here coming up for SundaeSwap. So you're going to have another place to go ahead and actually buy this. But anybody who's listening or hasn't caught up on the Pavia hype on this, the only place right now currently that you can buy Pavia is on ADA.muesli over at one of the early first Cardano dexes over here. And you can, I think, do they have ccvault support now? Does anybody know?
Not that I don't know. I haven't tried it.
I think they may have ccvault. So I think I may have seen that out there. But if the worst case scenario, I know Nami wallet works with it. You can actually connect your Nami wallet to the top into this. And if anybody I'm recommending, I don't recommend clicking on the buy or the sell and toggling manually. I do recommend clicking either on the buy or sell buttons, so you can buy it.
Who would do that?
Yeah, open orders from other people. Yeah, you don't want to pay their website price. You want to pay what people are trying to compete and sell for.
CJ, what do you mean? I thought that's the only way you know how to do.
Listen, I was half asleep, dude. I was tired. I was FOMOing in quickly, and I lost. Yeah. I wasted 25.8, only at 100. Oh, I was pissed.
I mean, it's early, man. Like I said, we're early. I don't hate that, right? That's
you still made money since then.
I did, but I could have had more Pavia if I would have.
Maybe by the time this episode's out, SundaeSwap will have a Pavia swap too. So.
Yeah, could you imagine what that's going to be like? As long as the server's still alive throughout the rest of this week, because it's already been under heavy load the entire week. So tomorrow that's going to be an insane day. So we may have a few days to struggle.
Although we're just going to say LOL or good try.
It's like, we'll see you next week, right? But I mean, besides Pavia over here, the other main competitors, you have a couple other ones outside of this. Cardano Village is another one that I know I've been barely involved with. I think I hold one of the plots right now. But the reason this got my attention back in the day was that Charles Hoskinson himself actually acknowledged it, because they had like Squid Game characters with the little mini Charles Hoskinsons on them. And he's like, oh, these are cool. And that got pretty much, once he tweeted that out, that thing sold out on its mint right after that. And I didn't really know. I know that it's a team. I think they're based out of like somewhere out in like Korea or somewhere out there. So there's a little bit of a language gap. South Korea, yeah. So there's a little bit of a language gap too when it comes to some of their tweets and stuff. And I know we had talked about them last week as far as their stress test goes. Getting a little bit of shit on that, but they actually announced the price of these have really shot up as well, even since the last one. I think they were pushing like 200 last week, and now we're over 300 ADA floor for these, because towards the back end of this month, it looks like from January 30th over to February 2nd, they're going to go ahead and actually do a snapshot of all the holders, and they're going to go ahead and get you what I think they call it the exchange ticket is what it is. And that's going to be valid until February 13th. And basically what this will do for you is, if you have one of these tickets, you're going to be able to mint into their next land sale for 10 ADA, get back of 8.5 plus the land itself. And that'll give you basically an 8.5 ADA drop for if you're a current holder. And anything after that doesn't sell inside that little pre-sale, they're going to go ahead and move to the public sale. I believe at 58 ADA for these guys. So I think their land is a lot smaller as far as the quantities go. I'd have to go back. I think it's total land parcels are 15,444, and 10,100 are reserved for the NFT holders available to mint between February 2nd and February 13th.
I like their visuals or their profile pictures of each one. I think they're pretty neat and different.
Yeah,
they had some cool actually designs that I was just scrolling through tonight when I was going through. They did some 3D models of some of this stuff. So you can tell, I don't know if this is playing right now, but yeah, they're actually getting, because I know we had seen that stress test that basically it was just houses and grids, everything. So they're actually bringing to life. It's actually cool. You got the little moon right here on this video. So you're starting to see those little worlds come to life over time. So that's another one of those metaverses to keep an eye out for.
I'm not an astronomer, but I don't think the moon's supposed to be that close.
What do you mean, dude? I think that's just one. It's its own little world right there. I mean, or it's I don't know if it's like a Destiny themed right there. It's just something hovering over that. Yeah, dude. I think
Dr. Octavius over there can say it.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, they're starting to gain their own little following as well. So that's another one of those Cardano metaverses. And then the last one I know that we've talked about in the show that I have an update for that got big this week, which is another big artist of ours, which favorite is aeoniumsky. They finally posted an announcement that they're partnering up with Cardania to go ahead and help better facilitate like the integration of aeoniumsky stuff into the metaverse. And then on top of that, he's also doing his block 10. He's resuming. He has 24 of the blocks that he's doing right now. And those are like some of the coolest looking GIFs that come out there right now. Some awesome looking artwork for Aeonium. It's got that neon, like retro style, like 80s kind of theme-ish to me. But that their testament is actually coming up next week too. So I'm curious to see what the drop structure is for that, because we had a little rough drop on block 9 if you were there for that. He tried to do the Discord bot feature and it broke that as well, and they kind of he had to push out the address again too. So that seems to be the default for everybody, right? Try something new, and if it doesn't work, worst case scenario, push the address out in a minute, right?
Yeah, put the burden on Cardano.
Yeah. Hey, sorry guys, nothing we could do. But this would be a cool partnership. I really do like Cardania as well. They had their Terraform land drop that had sold out as well. I think there's like 9,700 and something change of those things. So all these metaverses are taking off, and I know Cornucopias is another one, which I'm sure we'll cover a little bit more in depth as they start to get closer to their their drops as well. So
yeah,
we're really curious
to see their partnership on that.
Yeah, like I'm really curious to see what he's going to do for like a metaverse project, because I really like their art so much. So it'll be, and you nailed that pronunciation of aeoniumsky, Tommy. I know the first time you always got to be like, you got to say it like carefully the first time, then it starts flowing out afterwards. But that first time you just got to catch it right now.
Yeah. I think we had a whole episode where we called them like every name in the book, but it was like aeoniumsky, and then TJ, you had a classic one. What was yours?
Aeoniumsky.
Yeah. So I think we eventually, I went in there, I was like, what's the phonetic spelling? So I typed this one of the mods in the Discord. He's like aeoniumsky, and I'm like, I would have never gotten that, but okay, I got you, man. So our pronunciation has been on point for them right now.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in that though. That'll be I'm really curious what they come up with for the collaboration on a metaverse.
Well, it's kind of cool that two things is you take like the Cardania, that logo to me just screams Contra from back in the day, from the NES days, and then you got Aeonium stuff, which is like that retro, like 80s themed, like just neon like type retro art. It's super clean. So the two messages of those projects was Cardania's terraform plots, if anything, are some of the most colorful and diverse, I'd say, of any of the land plot projects that are out there right now. So it'd be cool to see the combination of those two and how that gets integrated in, because everybody's going to the metaverse. It's just, who's getting there first, and what are we going to do when we get there?
I wonder if they'll have any like animation or anything to them too, or if they'll have like maybe the rare ones will be a little animated, because I'd
imagine 35ers podcast on Pavia with VR headsets, and
there you go. We're jumping in. All the YouTubers, all the TikTok, everybody just jumps into one thing. It's, you got like a store of which one you want to go into, and you can just open it up the channel and see who's on.
Filmed in front of a live studio audience.
But yeah, dude, I think those metaverse projects, obviously the metaverse update seems to be progressing very well, and Pavia obviously it's like our biggest, most ambitious project on Cardano so far, and it's cool to see the attention, the excitement. If anything, it's bringing excitement into Cardano right now. So it's cool to see all the new people kind of coming in and realizing like, hey, this isn't a ghost chain over here. They've actually got stuff going on right now. Which
a lot of talented artists and projects on this side for sure.
Oh, absolutely, dude. And you're starting to see it even throughout, some of the older projects that, we thought back in the day for sure are going to be blue chips that may not get all the love that you originally see. Like another one of our favorites this week that went ahead and finally dropped some big news, because there was some current concerns for a while for them, was Yummi Universe. They were kind of radio silent a little bit on, after their winter Naru drop over in December. And from there, they kind of just didn't really say anything. And it's more so they're working in the background for a lot of things, but they're doing 7 days worth of updates this week, and so far we've gotten 2 of them this week.
As soon as they dropped that first announcement, though, the floor and the secondary
right?
doubled, like instantly doubled. And I mean, last week I was considering Tom and I mean, we were considering selling ours just to get in some projects and getting back into Yummi just so we can get some other stuff going. But thank God we did not do that.
Yeah, well, because we had some drops coming up last week after last show. We had Bright Pals, we had Borg, and we just thought, hey, Yummy's been so stagnant. It's kind of just sitting there. It seems pretty stable. We could sell out of it, buy into those projects,
flip and go back
some,
yep.
And then buy my or a different Yummi. Maybe I like a little better because I just got mine from Mint, so I could actually choose kind of some of my features and stuff. And like 3 days later, it was over 300, and it had been like at 170 at the time. So I even asked you, I think TJ just like gritted teeth, like, you didn't sell yours, did you?
I was like, nope, I was going to, but I did not do it.
It was very close. Yeah, no, I was like just kind of toying around, just looking at the market, kind of keeping an eye on it. Like, I'll get on there and post it up, it'll see if it'll sell just even at floor, because they're not changing at all. And yeah, they shot up, which I'm happy to see.
Yeah, I know. I'm pumped to see how they're doing their announcements too, because I get excited every day to see their new announcement, because they're Tier 7 now. I want to see the next one. Let's see what's going on.
Oh, it's like a little Christmas present every day right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Blake, what's you a fan of Yummi? Or I'm sure like most of us, we all jumped into that thing at least back. Was it September?
That was I think it might have been October.
Yeah,
I think
like
Clay Nation was like the project of September.
Yes.
Yummi was probably the project of October. And what was interesting, as I like kind of just analyze, I try to put in different perspectives. When Chilled Kong's floor passed what Yummi was able to push, like, because Yummi hit like a 400 kind of after the initial excitement after the first couple of days, and we're like, man, that's 400 was like, holy cow. You're hitting Clay Nation Spacebudz territory. When Kong's passed it and went like 800 900, I was like, whoa, this is a different beast. They also had JPEG store. You didn't have the 24-hour people not sending, but that was a huge thing for me. But yeah, love Yummi. Minted 2, flipped 1, still hold the one that I minted. And I also was thinking, I was like, man, 170, it's been there for a while, I probably should grab some, but there's too many other projects. There's so many other people I want to get into. It's
right.
It's tough, right? It's like you leave like the Yummi universe at one point where they were like the pinnacle, like they were like the biggest thing that everybody had their eyes focused on. And to me, this just has like roots. I love this project just in general because I'm a big Pokemon fan, and it sounds like most of us on this podcast are at this point. And they feel like Cardano is like Pokemon almost is what they're going for. And even I know David and Daniel and those guys over there, they allude to that they were heavily inspired obviously through Pokemon, and they kind of envision this thing to be eventually like a game of some sort, or their merchandise is like they have the perfect like mascot or whatever you want to say for the Yummi is the perfect merchandise,
kind of like the Pikachu.
They're Pikachu.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
For
That's
sure.
Exactly what I think too.
So I think that people always slept on these things too, because like you said, it was sitting at like 170. It never really budged from there. It was always kind of hovering, but everybody was kind of wondering, it's like, why is this going down? Why? And it was mainly due to, I think, what was the next part of that utility? Because they did do something really cool, which was awesome about the seasonal burn for their holiday. Instead of dropping the 10,000 or whatever it may have been each holiday drop and saturating that pool, they did that burn feature, which was really unique and which we've covered in the past. I think you've covered that as well, Blake. But that to me was awesome for them to go ahead and do. And I think over time, as these get more and more popular, those older drops like the Spoopies are going to continue to get more and more valuable as different holiday things drop and burn. And, there's less and less of those supply. But Yummi, when they drop something like we're about to change the CNFT game, 2022 is going to be the year of the Yummi, everybody was just like, hold on, like refocus. And like you said, it went from 170 back into like the mid 300s.
I just loved it because they were so quiet for so long. They dropped that bomb and everyone was back on board again. I just love
the team is strong. You just kind of lose sight, but the strong teams, man, they're powerful.
Oh, and on top of that too, they got such a good following, like a loyal following to them. And it's one of the cool things they had done recently is they got their verified like holders chat. So you're able to verify your Naru, and they had all the different, the Spoopy holder role, the winter Naru holder, whale role, like the normal holder. So it's cool that they're getting more engaged too with their community. And anytime somebody goes radio silent and it's not, the project's legit, that's always a good sign that, hey, they got some stuff in the works here.
Yeah.
So again,
this
week, so they went ahead and actually dropped, 2 announcements so far as of the recording of this podcast on a Wednesday. But the first one that they had actually talked about was that Yummi takes London. Like they're going to be doing like an exhibition and a pop-up shop in 2022 and summer of this year. So it's a big like advertising campaign, and it's cool. Like again, they're looking to do some sort of a little, can you imagine being in like London and going to find like a Yummi universe store? to grab like physical merchandise and stuff. Like again, you could get those packs. I know they had originally sold back in the day. Gee, it's gonna be so cool.
Well, even just those box figurines, it made me think of those where they those pops or whatever. That's exactly what I think of when I see those
Funko
things.
Pops or whatever.
Yeah. So I feel like those are going to be a hot seller in those little pop-up shops for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm curious what they're going to say, because obviously they're probably going to sell like mugs and like shirts and other things like that. But you know, I think they do reserve like the cards were for like the series 1 like card holders who held like all 7 of them or whatever they were able to get the physical packs back in the day. Blake, were you around when they won? Yummi was back in like May of 21, right? Were you around when they minted out?
I didn't hear about them. I was kind of in Cardano Warriors, which minted the first week of May, and kind of Ronin Universe. And for somehow, you know, I don't know how I didn't get into that sphere, but I didn't hear about Yummi until the 10K drop.
Right.
But yeah, I missed that one.
Well, my first exposure to them was like before the 10K had gotten out there. It was the box figurines. I was over there trying to collect those out. And even at that time, the number one like the boxed burger buddy, he was just like in an unattainable range for me at the time. He was at like 5,000 ADA or something like that. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to collect all these, because I guess if you collect all those series 1s, the 1 through 7 right now of those, you get the actual boxed.
Oh, you get the box. You
get the boxed one, the shiny one, man. Yo, rip to my brother Chris on that. My brother actually snagged a shiny the extra love one, the unboxed.
Nice.
And sold it.
Oh,
so yeah,
you were so mad at him for doing that. You were so mad at him for doing that.
I was so mad at him, but he made a good profit on it.
Oh, he made profit. You want to hear a brother story?
Yeah,
my brother, we did the Cardano bits drop together because we watched Spacebudz.
Yeah,
he minted a Blue Wings.
Cardano
bit. Yeah, he minted a winged warrior, and we're like, let's sell it. I mean, we had no idea. It's like, how do you know what's gonna happen? Yeah, he bought it for what, 45, 35, sold it for 1,500.
Yeah,
but you know, now wing warriors are 6K, 5K. So
but
anyways, it was
still a good flip though.
He bought one and got a wing warrior. I'm
That's
like,
insane luck right there, right? Yeah, so I mean, it's funny, when people don't know, and I do that. I've had my experiences with those as well, where I bought something like, you know what, I shouldn't have held on to that. Apparently, even my mutant croc that we had sold those at, what are those for 300 plus floor right now? I'm like, come on,
just happy to get like the mint price back then.
That's me too.
That was like in that time when all those 10K projects were just dropping and going below mint instantly, and like there was a new one every other day, and they were just getting pumped out those profile pics.
Yeah, but these guys over here, you know, they're one of the OGs in the space, and you can never sleep on Yummi. So that means you're go ahead.
I mean, if you're willing to kind of lock some ADA away for a while, just, you know, like summertime rolls around, some of those winter Narus, you know, preparing for Christmas time.
Oh yeah,
I think some of those will start to, you know, those will pick back up. And because I was like, I should get a winter one. I was like, what am I doing? Like, am I going to have it for 4 days and then Christmas and then they're all going to sell, you know?
Right.
So, and I wanted to keep my Halloween one. So I didn't do the mint. So yeah, the burn.
Yeah. I bought one as well. I still got my,
still got your one. Yeah. We actually did I think we're doing a giveaway right now on our channel for a spoopy right there, because it's part of our thing. We're doing this. So I love what they got going on. As time goes on, you know, it's going to get, I think their brand, I think it has the potential to go global. They have that marketing ability with these things. So it's only a matter of time until all this kind of catches on.
I mean, the when button, dude, so great.
The most classic gift you can ever have, right? Yeah. Like that is the most classic thing you can ever have. The second announcement, which they had posted earlier today, was a collaboration with this crypto YouTuber Hashashi 4. I hope I'm saying that right. Hashoshi. There you go. See, everybody's got
off of Satoshi.
Oh, yeah. I got you on that. Okay, so not a fan. I not even heard of him, to be honest with you.
He's pretty strong. I think he's got like 100,000 subs.
Does he really?
On YouTube.
67,000 followers on Twitter as well.
He's got a good. But yeah, that's cool.
That's huge. That's
good partnership.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, crypto over coffee. 100% proceeds will go to charity, and they've got him decked out with the hoodie of the Naru and the Yummi Universe mug. So
that's a good name. Crypto over coffee. I love that. It's a good name.
Yeah, right. They got some cool stuff over there. So that's number 2. I think, like you said, they're kind of easing you into their announcements at the beginning of the week, because they're about to drop like a bomb on us, like towards the back end. Like, by the way, like, see, something crazy is going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's instead of a Yummi, maybe you know, universe, maybe metaverse, quote unquote. Can you imagine like it becomes
Oh,
like that
my
real,
word.
like our Pokemon, like that we've always wanted it to be, like that 3D, like walk around and you have your
You just
different
walk around the
Narus
Yummy next to you.
with your NFT. Like, oh God, man, don't get me started on where this thing could go.
That'd be sick.
Well, they're going to be at you guys are going to the CNFT con, right?
Correct.
Because you guys were talking about that last week. So I mean, they're going to be there. That'll be cool to meet them and the team that they have in person.
Dude, I'm excited. I think CNFT con, that's just going to be like the homecoming for everybody this year. It's still so early over here on our side. We've got months and months and months to go, but who knows what's going to happen in the space because they all move so quick. But I think that's going to be super dope for everybody to get out there and say what's up and get to meet all these different people throughout the past year you made friendships with. So obviously we're huge fans of Yummi, and it sounds like you are as well. So that's awesome that we get to see what's going on.
They're a blue chip in my mind.
Yeah, we got 5 more days too. 5 more days of announcements. So we'll probably having more to catch up. It sounds like they're saving the best to last, which makes sense. So I'm sure next week too, we'll even have crazier stuff to talk about as we get towards the end.
Oh yeah. Well, I know one of the big things over this past week, I mean, just blowing up, a little bit just in general with blue chips, is you got Spacebudz that are really kicking off right now. I feel like every day someone's like, finally got the chance to jump in. And Blake, did you get a Spacebudz?
I did. Yeah.
Was that a recent acquisition?
Nice.
Or
that was mid-December.
There you go.
Yeah. So like I've said, I watched it, and 400, the floor was 400 ADA whenever they kind of settled down after their first initial pump. And I was like, man, 400 ADA. Actually, this is a really interesting story. I've never shared the story. Big Pay from Bloompool. So I watched his video and I was like, maybe I should, buy one of these. And I was looking through the Spacebudz Discord. This was probably April. And I didn't want to go. I was so afraid of Discord escrows because being early into or being new to Cardano or just crypto in general, it's always like, beware of scams. You're going to get scammed. You're going to lose all your ADA. So I was like, I don't want to do these escrows. I don't trust anybody. There's no CNFT.io. And so I was like, well, I know Pay. And, he was in the Discord he had a huge list of like 10 Spacebudz. Yeah. And one of them was serial number 4500. And it was a monkey with a bazooka. And I was like, that's kind of cool. Like a huge bazooka, this little monkey. And I was like, hey, I want to buy this serial number. And he's like, okay, send me. It was 900 ADA at the time. Those are selling for like, 10, 15,000. Yeah. And I was like, I'll take it. I sent him the funds. And then come to find out that he actually didn't have that one, but he had marketed that he had that one. Yeah. And I was kind of flustered. I was like, I can't believe I'm spending this much ADA on this thing. And I was like, you know what, just send me the money back. And so he refunded me, but that was my chance to get I could have picked another one, but
so you had pulled the trigger.
Fake Turbo Man.
Yeah. So
it's only the
it's booster. There's booster.
Booster. No one wants booster.
Really, the big thing for me with Spacebudz is it's the OG 10K project, but Alessandro is the one for me that I'm like, oh yeah, that he's gonna, just like Dave, Daniel and those guys on Yummi are gonna bring Yummi into the mainstream. Like Alessandro is just a legend already, and he's gonna be in the history books of Cardano. For the first smart contracts platform, first 10K PFP project, berries. Yeah. I mean, his list goes on and on. Nami wallet. I was like, when I saw he made the first smart contract marketplace, I was like, I'm going to get a Spacebud. Right. And then after that marketplace, the floor went to 5,000, and I was like, I'm not spending 5,000. And then it slowly creeped down to 3,000 around Thanksgiving time, and I was like, I'm not buying the floor. So then I had to.
Then you had to
I had to get one up a little bit, but I can if you want to pause or whatever, I'm always willing to flex the Spacebud.
Yeah, if you got it, I believe I can go ahead and allow you to go ahead, and you want to share a screen yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to see that for sure.
I want to see that. Yeah.
I thought I clicked on it.
I think you should be able to go ahead and let you do it.
I'm surprised you haven't bought one yet, Tommy.
Like I said, I have the opportunity to, and slowly it's dwindling right now.
It's in the chat.
It's in the chat on there. So slowly it's dwindling my ability to go ahead and do that. I actually have my own Spacebudz story as well, which I've actually shared on the channel quite a few times. But the thing that hurts me right now, can you guys see where I'm at right now or no?
No, you're not sharing. No, sir.
Oh, here we go. I got you. What about now?
Oh, that's cool.
There we go. Yeah.
Oh,
anyway,
so you got the star suit, right?
Yeah. So I was like, okay, got to go for the star suit. And the bear wasn't really like my favorite type, but it was a little bit more rare than I wanted. Actually, the dog was like, I would do a dog because it's a little bit cheaper, and I like dogs. And then this bear came up for like 4,400, and I was like, man, this thing looks really clean. The color matching too, I really like the color matching. They're actually holding something, the amulet, wing face, and then I actually prefer the uncovered helmet as opposed to the covered.
Yes,
even though the covered is considered a gadget. Anyway, so I took a very long time to decide which one I wanted to get, but yeah, that's the one I have so far. And obviously awesome, with the recent floor rise, I'm very happy with within a month the appreciation. So
of course, I mean, that's the OG project right there. And man, I the Spacebudz, like you said, there's nothing I guess super, like, to me, like looking when I first looked at them, I was like, what's the hype on these things? And I think it's more the nostalgia. Like it is built by Alessandro. It is built that first 10K really OG collection in there. The artwork to me isn't anything like super crazy, like awesome to me, but in the space, but I think because was the early days at that point. So there was no like set standards to really go off of. They kind of were setting it at that point. And dude, yeah, I mean, if you see a Spacebudz out there, you know, like that notoriety, that club that kind of puts you in. So it's like you said, it's awesome, man. You got to pull the trigger on that.
It's very cool.
I had my own trigger story, which rest in peace to my Ada that went through it. At that time when I jumped into CNFT, Spacebudz were trading for about a 650 floor back in early August. And there was another project called BitPunk with a little exclamation point at the end of it at that time. And I thought they were the crypto punks of Cardano. I thought I was going to get in early. There was like a small amount of them. And I spent 800 ADA on that versus I almost clicked buy. There was a monkey with the star suit as well that had some sort of gadget, like a gun maybe or something like that. And I almost clicked buy. And instead I switched back. And the Spacebudz floor, I think, jumped to like 2,000 plus after that. And I was out of the running, man.
And I love the creativity because Solana has the Solana monkey business. That's kind of their big project. And then you have, Bored Apes. So, Cardano's known, I hope among other blockchains too, of like, we have OG original projects.
Yes.
So, Spacebudz has the animal vibe, but it's not like a copycat. And then you have Clay Nation, of course, Yummi Universe, and a ton more, but those are just to name a few. So that's just really cool.
Yeah, hey, I go by Lavish Bear, so I think the bear was the right choice.
Yeah, the bear is the right choice. That's what I like. Only 800 bears.
That's cool.
And I was like, if I'm going to start a CNFT channel, you've got to like bring the guns, like you got to really preach what you
got to flex on them a little bit. Right?
Yeah, you got to be all about it. So
yeah. I think, so the Spacebudz, I mean, dude, for us, I was still, I hoped one day to get into that club. I guess technically I could now if I wanted to flip around some stuff, but there's some things where.
Well, you're right. You got a portion of a bud.
There you go. That's one way to go ahead and earn. And I was fortunate enough to mint one of the high ranked blue clays over on the Clay Nation drop. So that's kind of like my success story that I hold on to instead. Because I could trade out that thing, no problem, for a Spacebudz, but I'd rather, just to have my little story on there instead of just jumping in over here.
Well, you'll get another one. I mean, we're getting a diet Spacebud Light with our Angel Baby drop.
There you go.
We'll get our
Spacebud Light.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know if you guys heard of the second Spacebud drop.
Is it the one with Clay Nation, the Clay Bud?
No, it's rumored. Well, not rumored, but there was an announcement in the official Spacebudz channel on December 23rd. And they said, we're looking for an illustrator for Spacebudz. Send portfolios. And so everybody got very excited. And so who knows if it's going to be like you have to hold one or if it's going to be an open drop or whatever. But I'm just going to go ahead and say it's going to be for the 1 year anniversary, which is March 26th. They've got something coming. So get your data list ready.
A little bit of alpha.
That's right.
Get your data list ready already.
Right.
There you go. Yeah, by that time I'm just waiting for the day where I can log onto my phone to my Nami app, just the same way as MetaMask goes, and I can just click and mint from the phone right there. That'll be the day. But hopefully we'll get there. And then I know we were getting it there. This podcast, we'd say it every time, man, an hour it's going to get there, and it never gets to that hour. We always got too much to talk about. One of the things I did want to go ahead and talk about is, Blake, you got a chance to talk to these guys, was Soho Kids. Which is obviously the biggest drop coming up this week. I think originally they're dropping on Friday, the 21st. Is that the date?
It's Saturday.
Now it's
8 p.m. UTC.
Gotcha.
Oh, Saturday now. Okay.
Yeah.
So that got moved over, right? So that got moved over though, right, from the original thing, because obviously, can you kind of keep everybody up to speed on what ended up happening with that drop itself? because I got a lot of attention inside the community, and they ended up having to make a switch to their drop style.
Yeah, and it was perfect because I posted an episode about Soho Kids, and then an hour later, all my information was like now outdated.
Yeah,
and,
best.
I was like,
That's
I'm not going to
fantastic.
take the video down, so just going to let this ride out. But yeah, I felt bad. But yeah, so they started getting a lot of attention, and then basically it was the SundaeSwap announcement that really got them to think about it, because SundaeSwap's going to launch January 20th.
Yeah,
and they're going to launch on the 22nd, and like we've already talked about, pool.pm, or just the Cardano network's congested about 90% constantly, which is crazy, even 24 hour. And so, you know, with that kind of drop, it would have overloaded the system too much. And I think they're being aware of, like, if we have any new Cardano people, you don't want to make their first experience on the chain like, why is it taking me an hour to send I'm just trying to send money from an exchange or something. So so they're going to do a raffle system. The Google form is open. Actually, it might be closed. They said it was open for 30 hours, and that was yesterday.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the Discord is closed because they were getting a lot of bots after they said they were going to do a raffle, because then bots would just do a bunch of raffles. So yeah, they're gonna try that out, and we'll see. They're gonna just do a random drawing, and if you get picked, you get a mint one. They were gonna do a 2 NFT for like a 98 for two mints. So, but they've had to backstep on that just from all the hype.
Yeah, wasn't originally two or three transactions or
2 for 90? Well, initially it was, they just had it open for like 5, or like the vending machine was going to be like for a lot, and then the Discord just kept growing, the Twitter kept growing. They're like, okay, we're going to move it to 2.
Yeah,
and don't ask us to move it to 1, and then they moved it to 1. So
it got crazy. So yeah,
there's
you actually
12,000 members now. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you get chosen, I think you have like 3 days to mint too. So I mean, if you get chosen, you got the time and stuff like that. It's actually, I like that process. They're going with, at least where they're recognizing, hey, this got a little more overwhelming than we realized. We need to change this up. Otherwise, people are just not going to be happy with us. And we don't want to fuck around people that were here early, and also just upset anyone that came in trying to get involved in the project.
Well, they've seen, I've been hearing about one of this thing for, I don't know, weeks now. This is one of those big ones everybody was talking about. And I know, Blake, you got a chance to actually sit down with Oxy, one of the founders of Soho Kids. And can you give a little bit of background on what Soho Kids actually is? Like, what is that project? I know it's tied to some of their clothing lines and other things along those other, what else is Soho Kids other than this artwork? Yeah.
So, one of the big things I say on my channel is I love the founders, and for reasons that we've already mentioned with Yummi Universe and Spacebudz. So I'm always really aware of that as I go into mints, and Soho Kids is an obvious one of like, I know, I mean, as much as you can know, he's not doxed, but Oxy has been a CNFT collector, and he collects on other blockchains, but he's a big NFT guy. And, you see him around Twitter space, and
his profile pic is huge. Yeah.
DJ Crypto Club. Yeah. He's very recognizable and has a lot of good thoughts and comments.
He's got the Gundam, I think, right? The Gundam DJ or something like that.
The Gundam DJ, that's right. So he's been a CNFT collector. So it's like, okay, he's one of us. He's not just trying to, whatever. And Diogo, who's the 3D artist, you can see the concepts. I mean, they're really high quality, very well done. So you have a founder that and recognize, and then you have an artist who can do quality stuff like this 5K drop. And then they have a developer that they're, in-house developer that's going to be doing the drop for them. And I thought the other cool thing from the interview that I did was he just loves fashion outside of Cardano, outside of the blockchain. And he's taking that passion that he has and bringing it, like, I think Cardano needs this. And so what he wants to do ideally, and he's already got the Contra right there, is a brand. They're teams out of Portugal. Yeah. And so that brand is out of Portugal. And so he wants to bring in fashion brands into Cardano and do, clothing drops, or, have the Soho Kids like rep the different brands that he wants to bring in. Like I said, he has a developer, so they could do kind of a whole turnkey solution. Like, hey, you're a fashion people, we're fashion people, we can help you mint this thing. So they've got some really cool stuff coming up. And it was really cool to sit down and talk with him. He was a super nice guy to just, some random dude just tweets him and is like, hey, will you be in interview? He's like, sure. So really cool guy.
That's awesome, dude. So for me, I hadn't done any kind of deep stuff until I'd started to watch some of the video that you guys had out there. So that was cool to learn a little bit about them. And it's you don't see too much of that. I know that's a very big popular thing over on the Ethereum side. It's the kind of the 3D artwork over there. And you haven't seen too many big drops over here that rock that 3D artwork like that. About maybe a Lion Legends or something early on. That was one of those ones. So for them to go ahead and kind of drop this over here, it's definitely eye-catching. And on top of that, it's cool to learn the team behind it. What they, their main focus originally wasn't always the CNFTs. They had other aspects of things that they were working on. So it's cool to see them, what they've been able to develop over here.
It was also cool to hear him talk about the CNFT community, because he's like, I do stuff on Terra Luna, I do stuff on Ethereum, Solana, and he's like, I haven't experienced a community like Cardano's. Yeah. And so that was cool because, my philosophy is like, I did a ton of research on all the blockchains and I was like, I'm picking Cardano. Right. And then I don't have all the time in the world. Obviously, we only have 24 hours in a day. So then I'm like, I'm just going to dive super deep and just niche into. So it was cool to hear out people who do a different philosophy than I do to say like, yeah, no, Cardano really is like the great community that we all think it is. And hopefully it stays that way. But yeah.
Yeah, I think you hear a lot of people right now saying that kind of sentiment is it feels very welcoming over here. And once people actually make their way into Cardano, they actually, they stick around afterwards just because of the community itself. I think that's the most welcoming thing that I've seen over here is that you could ask anybody, you have no question about something and you start talking to somebody about it and they'll tell you anything and everything that they know and point you in the right direction if they don't. And that's super cool then. But these Soho Kids. So as of right now, it's definitely a unique format for what they got going on. You have to fill out that Google Doc that they had to go ahead and post it. And I want to say I saw that it was open from today, which is the 19th, into the 21st. And then they're supposed to be doing like a live stream for the Google Doc to go ahead and paste the addresses in there. And I think, like they said, what is it? They have 3 days. What to go ahead and, or is it 36 hours or 3 days to mint? I can't remember off the top of my head on that.
It's a
3 days. You had 3 days to mint.
Is it 3 days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was on the.
It's a long window of time.
Yeah. 3 days to mint this. Yeah. Yep. So 3 days to mint that, which is actually really cool. I do like that it's non-stressful. Hopefully, most likely, you're the guy that gets in there. But if anything, that Google Doc form, when you do click on it, it's very simple to fill out. The only thing you need to do is have your Discord name, paste it in there, an email address, and then also your wallet address that you want to be minting from. And that's the only thing. So they're only doing one. I think that was one of the reasons why they did kill off the Discord and were stopping new people in, because new people would make, new Discord accounts and try to get more multiple wallet addresses in there. So they're trying to be as fair as they can to it, which is all respect to them. So I don't know. I'm assuming, like you said, not financial advice on any of these things, but as these things mint fast, I'm assuming the price for these is going to go up.
Well, and just CNFTs are hot. Like, you know, when you go back to like September and October, you could mint anything basically.
Oh yeah.
And it would double.
Yeah.
Lion Legends, Ada Ninjas, like just any of those from that month.
Yep.
And this is a similar time. So, within this one's a double whammy, because you like the art and so you're okay with it if it does go under.
Yeah.
And if it does a 3x, you're like, cool, I'll maybe take some profits off the table. So that's a win-win for me.
Oh, absolutely. And like you said, you got a chance to talk to the actual creator. So it's probably a different level even for you in that respect, because you get to know a little bit of background to the guys who are creating this stuff. So you can probably feel a little bit more confident going into that. So, that's awesome to see. I don't think there's, like you said, the 3D art style is definitely unique in this space right now, at least on Cardano. And I think the only thing maybe you could say that released recently that would even be comparable to this would be Growing Pains. Some of that artwork, but these obviously are a little bit different looking as well. So I personally like the artwork on these, and I'll definitely hoping that we get into this one as well. And if not, it may have to go pick one up off the secondary for that.
Yeah, I'll be watching that secondary like a hawk if I don't get one for sure.
Oh yeah,
it'll be really interesting to see what the wallet distribution is, and so it should be a very scattered distribution,
right?
If they do the raffle correctly, or enough, there weren't a lot of bots in there. And then how does that affect secondary? Because usually distribution out of a 10K drop is like, 2,000. So what happens when there's 4,000 holders out of 5,000 total?
Right.
Does that speed up does it slow it down? I don't know.
You're going to get your initial flippers, right? The people who want to make their money and get out of the project. And then eventually you're going to get the people who are going to gobble those up because they want more of them. And then you'll find that balance eventually. I'm curious, because Happy Hoppers did that as well. And they had a pretty wide distribution. And, the floors always stayed over whatever mint was, not too much, but it always has been, because you've got people who are dedicated into that project. That was a little bit different than this, because you're going to get people who are just whitelisted and based on luck at this point. So again, I think it'll balance itself out. But it definitely is more fair. Like you said, so some guy doesn't just come in and snag a bunch of them and then hold on to the majority of those things.
Well, like I said earlier, it's fair if I get one, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't notice this either, but Q2, Q3 on the roadmap says they're going to transition to full body models of these things as well. And then production of the Soho Kids vinyl toys. So
They also mentioned,
it looks like they,
oh, sorry. He was also mentioning some of the other, I don't know about utility, but just they want to do like meetups. So,
right.
you know,
Oh, that's
Portugal, they, you know, in that EU area, they want to do some meetups. And then I think he was mentioning maybe going to CNFT Con as well.
Really?
So they might be in Vegas in October. So like they want to meet up with the community. They want to interact. So that was another thing that he had mentioned in the interview.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I think we had talked to a guy too recently, this guy Vic with the Hidden Ore, that are working on Miami and Florida meetups and different things. So you're going to see all these different communities kind of starting to come together throughout the world prior to CNFT Con. So it's really cool as Cardano gets connected with each other. And again, eventually everybody, like I said, will probably be like one big homecoming in Vegas later in this year. So that's awesome to hear about that though. So Soho Kids, I guess the full official mint date is going to be on Saturday is what we're saying now officially. I'm waiting for that live stream, I guess. Oh, they haven't officially announced it though, have they? I want to say in their announcements channel they haven't given an exact time when that mint for that live stream is going to be revealed. They just said check back for further
live stream time will be announced soon. That was today at 7 a.m. Eastern time, so nothing yet.
And if none of us win, raffles are the worst way to do drops.
Terrible. Don't ever do it.
Yeah, keep an eye out for our Soda Sopa kids we got coming out next
Soda
month.
Sopa. Yeah.
City Pop kids.
That's funny, dude. So I mean, if anything, you got a little bit of time to do it because as we know, the blockchain is super congested right now.
Well, that's if you're in the Discord though, you have time to do it. True.
That's if you're in the Discord, right? But I'm saying once you get into that and you have the chance to mint, it's not going to be a rush. You do have 3 days to go ahead and mint these. So I think you're going to need it right now because we have a huge catalyst that by the time this podcast releases, maybe we may all be frustrated or we may be like, yes, this is one of the best things ever. You got
why are you guys so mad? This is great.
It's a bittersweet day over here with SundaeSwap, or as Hosky likes to refer to them as SundaeSwap.
Yeah.
I think.
Someday swap.
They are launching on Thursday, so
yeah, they finally did
Sunday.
Yeah, right. That would have been a perfect day to do this, right? Like knocked it out on Sunday on the swap. But this is a huge, huge catalyst event.
Pun. Like how'd they miss out on that?
Right. This is a huge catalyst event for Cardano just in general right now. SundaeSwap has been something that even if I didn't know what the hell these swaps were, we were talking back in the day, Pancake Swap, you got Uniswap, there's every kind of food swap that you can think of. It's a theme, right? Yeah. Tom, we were talking about, but for Cardano, this is huge right now. So you can see the blockchain load has been sitting at like an high 80s to mid 90s every single day right now. Everything's taking longer to mint, and this is definitely not going to help in the short term, but in the long term, obviously there's going to be a lot of opportunity for people to jump into this. So I'm not too falling into what exactly SundaeSwap's got going on. I just know that this is going to be the largest Cardano DEX out there, and their Sundae token is going to be their native token to this, and you're going to be able to start taking all those different coins that you have inside your wallets. Especially, it's going to be a pretty easy process to go ahead and connect to their website and utilize their swap function. So it's going to be kind of cool to see. Blake, I don't know if you have any experience with this at all or have been following it, but
just if people haven't heard about it yet, I know this video will be coming out a little bit later, but they'll still have time to delegate their ADA to one of the 30 stake pools.
Yep.
That if you go to one of the 30 stake pools that were selected for the SundaeSwap token airdrop, you'll get your ADA rewards on top of some Sundae tokens
right.
just for being in there. So if you haven't done that, that's an easy way to get Sundae tokens. And then and I need to learn more about like liquidity pools and those types of things. I did an interview with Crypto Buff. He just released a video on YouTube about SundaeSwap. And he also links to some other people that, because it was kind of outside of his area of expertise, because that just, you can go down a whole DEX rabbit hole there.
Oh my God,
but liquidity pools can, you can earn some ridiculous APY similar to like a pancake swap. So that's really interesting. If you're willing to lock up your ADA for a while, that can be a really great way to earn some Sundae.
Is SundaeSwap going to use a bunch of nonsense replacement words? Because that's where they mess me up, like on PancakeSwap and all these. What's the one on Vive where you have gems? They make it sound like you didn't just lose $5,000. It's like, no, it was just sprinkles. I just traded some sprinkles. I got back some melted ice cream. It wasn't a big deal. And it's like, we can't pay our rent this month. Like, what are you talking about?
Go get your sprinkles back. We need to. We got rent to pay tonight.
They're like, oh, my Iron Man on Vive is worth 2,500 gems.
It's like, what does that mean, man?
Yeah, exactly. So it's just, I don't know if they're doing that. Are they doing like crazy little terms like that? Is it all sprinkles and cherries?
I believe as of right now, you got the raspberry, the strawberry, chocolate.
I think those are just testnet.
Chocolate, right.
Yeah. I think, you had mentioned that a little bit earlier. Yeah, the testnet stuff for that. So yeah, you're going to be able, Sundae is going to be their main one, right? And then you have one of our favorites, like a drip drops and all these other coins that are going to start, and then serious tokens as well. It's not just all meme coins on this thing, is and I think I just saw what I was scrolling through on Twitter for them. They have the first liquidity pool had been created on there already with a wrapped I forget what the name of this one is.
World Mobile Token.
Yeah. There you go. So that's awesome. Yeah, if you're a big DeFi, I know when it exploded back in the summer of 21, like people made some ridiculous amount of money. The APYs on some of those things were like in the high, like thousands of that. So people made some quick money on that. So if you're smart, I like it because like I feel way more comfortable with Cardano just in general because I've been using it so much recently. I feel like I have a lot better eye on what to go ahead and invest in possibly, but eventually it's going to go over my head and these things are going to go crazy. So that's a huge catalyst event though, whether, for the CNFT space, there's going to be more liquidity coming into Cardano because you're going to have other people who aren't necessarily into CNFTs coming in here, trading around different tokens and ADA and eventually making money. And then the CNFTs, as they continue to get bigger, they're going to definitely be explored, as more people come into the space.
And start clogging my network up so I can't buy my CNFTs.
Right. Well, again, I think as like you said, the good thing is that we can warn everybody it's going to be slow here for a little bit. Maybe a few days, maybe a week, couple weeks, who knows, as this starts to get going. But eventually we know that Cardano is able to scale and this won't be a long-term problem at all. So that's comforting to know that they already know this is kind of coming. And they've already got plans to make sure this gets easier.
And if we get FUD, then we get cheaper ADA on the dollar, and
hey, there you go.
We just get to keep filling our bags, our stack. And so I'm fine either way. You guys pick. You want to hate on us? That's great.
Yeah. Hey,
I'll personally open SundaeSwap when they get Hosky token on there. Until there, it's muesli swap for me all day.
Hosky-swap.io, man. That's the best.
There you go too,
the Hosky right now, if you really want to do these stake pools, I think that's the research topic, and because I'm more focused on the CNFTs, but those stake pools, man, you can make some cool stuff and get some awesome airdrops utilizing those tokens. The spoops, even for those Hosky guys, you can get billions of tokens for staking in their pools. So there's a lot of cool things that people are doing. So SundaeSwap is a huge catalyst. It's no longer SundaeSwap. It is officially going to be here by the time this podcast opens up, which is cool.
It's an interesting day tomorrow. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah. And then I think one of the last things that are going to be minting prior to the next podcast after this is dropping, which took off earlier last year a little bit and came out of nowhere, was zombie chains. They have their mint for their human, the hunters, or they call them the zombie hunters. And that's coming out next Wednesday, the 26th. Have you guys, I don't think any of, I know I don't own a zombie hunters. I don't know if any of you guys do either. I know we've talked about them before, but they have some cool, isn't it brought up their stuff over from, is it Cardano Man and some other artists that brought, not Cardano Man, but Cardano Dan. Yes. I think it is, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the artist was on Cardano Thor's roundtable.
Okay. Yeah.
He seemed like a solid guy. I appreciated the art. I thought the art was like, you can just tell, you can look at it, you're like, this is really well done. Zombies just like aren't my thing, but
right.
I know it's other people's thing.
Yeah. It's popular throughout the community. The cool thing, like you said, is this NFT this time around, it gives you 3 different NFTs in one, right?
Nice.
A profile pick, a wide pick, and a banner pick.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that way
that's a really cool idea. I like that a lot, though. It also gives you more detail. Yeah, you know what I mean? You get the big picture, but then you still have that's really cool. I like that a lot.
So that'll be cool to see how that does over there. I know Zombie Chains held wild. They were holding for like a 200 floor for a long time. I think they finally dropped underneath it a little bit, but they're still sitting up there. And those zombies, the cool thing about them when they were minting too is they didn't have any rarity chart or anything. It was just like whatever looked cool, people went with, and they paid the ADA for it. So that was kind of neat to see. And then these zombie hunters, I thought they were all
and
humans.
no roadmap.
Yes, that was a dope thing for them too. I didn't realize, I thought they were all more like human figures, but the more I'm starting to scroll through these things and starting to see like the actual human, like this is like, obviously I was telling you, the Gears of War kind of gun,
Multi-pass?
chainsaw, which you got the
Lulu from Fifth Element.
There you go. Yep. And then as we started scrolling through some of these, you have the human ones, but as I was going through, you have some other guys that I don't know, it's like a Hulk almost like looking.
It's like a Mario mushroom. Go up a little bit.
Where'd you see? Oh yeah,
the level life up.
That's
the life
sick.
up
That's dope. I didn't notice that either.
That's cool.
So that's actually, the banners would be fun, right? Like you get to see your guy, and then all of a sudden it opens up another picture, and you got something like that sitting there. So that's kind
of. I
wonder
wonder if they made it like the perfect size for like a Twitter banner. I wonder if that's why they did that, so you could.
Absolutely.
That's what it's for. Yeah, it's made to that size. That's really cool. I like that a lot. Especially like you said, they don't really have a roadmap. They kind of recognize that. I remember when they came out, Tommy, they kind of went under the radar for us. We noticed them because we were looking, and all of a sudden their floor was like 395.
Zombie Chains had minted when the Degen, the Degens had minted at the same day, I believe, was that. And Zombie Chains, and then there was another drop, Tom, that we were looking to get in. I can't even remember what drop that. Probably we picked the wrong one out of the three.
Voodoo or something. I think
it was we always did.
Yeah, and no shade is Voodoo. I love Voodoo. I think their artwork's dope. It's just that these guys persevered over in the long term for at least now.
But doing this part of the project, they recognize like, hey, we're not doing a metaverse. We don't have a roadmap. We do realize that people just kind of like the zombie art. They like showing off the pictures. So we're going to give you the whole banner and profile picture all ready to go, so you can show it off however you want. If you want to have it as a banner and then have your Spacebudz or whatever you want as your profile pictures, or recognizing that. It's smart on their part. I like that a lot.
It switches them up, right? Like instead of it just being like the picture, they give you a little bit more extra. So that's a cool different thing to it. I know, again, not involved with it, but I think there's a pre-sale going on. I think January 22nd is what I read. And they're going to mint for those for 50 ADA. And I think you have to have like zombie coins, 100 zombie coins, which I'm not even really sure how to get those because I'm not been involved with it. But for anybody else who missed out on that, like us, if you want to mint the hunters, that's on January 26th, which is next Wednesday at 1700 UTC, which I think is 12 o'clock PM Eastern for us over here. And that's going to be 60 ADA. If you're looking to mint those, it's a little steeper on the ADA price, I would say. But who knows? We'll see how these things do. They do have a good following behind them. So if you guys are looking to catch another drop in between, if Soho Kids, you don't get in that lottery and you have some ADA sitting around, it's another one to kind of keep your eye on out, I think, going next week.
The first one did extremely well, and kind of out of nowhere, they got a good community too. You see them all over the place. They've stayed stable. They haven't really jumped around either as far as their floor goes, even through like the lower periods in December and the winter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. So, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of other things that are going to be coming up. February sounds like it's already going to be a huge month with Pavia getting ready to release, Cardano Village getting ready to go. Who knows what other projects are going to sneak out of nowhere for us. So
the mandrills.
The mandrills.
Those are sick looking.
Yeah, that's another one that I'm sitting there watching. So, Blake, dude, we appreciate you jumping in.
It was a blast.
I know. We told everybody, I know when we're sitting here doing these things, an hour and a half is usually about like the standard now. And sure enough, we're probably going to keep you for about 2 on this, but that's just the Freedom 35ers way. We got so much. It's so hard to condense this stuff, man. Especially when you're doing like a weekly update for all the different things that come. There's so much that happens.
There was such a short list too for us this week, honestly.
I think you missed some. No, you still missed some things, you guys. I don't even think you got into your Borgs, TJ. You got a little Borg action on there. Yeah.
Well, you guys are in good company just because like you know each other in real life, and you can also talk about CNFTs. Like people, I can't talk to anybody about this, which is partly why I made a channel, because it's like I got to talk about this. So this has been awesome. So. Dude, on the same wavelength.
I appreciate it, man. You fit in well, with us too. It kind of style is like more relaxed, more chill. So it was easy. It was a pleasure to have you on, man.
I think I said that last night, Tommy. I was a little busy when you guys were talking, but I was in the Discord call with you guys, and I'm like, I'm excited for this. It's gonna go great because that Discord call, like pacing, everything, vibes all the same. So I was excited for this. It went really well.
Yeah, dude. Well, so I appreciate. We'll definitely have to do this again, and who knows? Maybe next week we'll we'll have some announcements to your side as well on what you got going over on the weekly update over there.
Sure.
So, Blake, I mean, I know, just kind of wrapping up our back end over here. I always wrapping up on the back end.
Every time.
That's gonna be a phrase on a t-shirt you're gonna wear.
I know. We're gonna get
wrap
are you
it up on
recording,
the
Gordon?
back.
Those are our merch, right? You're gonna have those two things.
But what do you call it?
Yeah. We got our phrases right. I think everybody does that. When you listen back to yourself, you're like, dude, what are you saying right now, man? Like, stop. I say I say this so many times. Yeah. But Blake, if anybody's looking to jump over and kind of check you out, where should they look?
Yeah, so I'm on YouTube, BlakeCNFT, and also pretty active on Twitter, retweeting or just tweeting stuff out at BlakeCNFT. And I'm working on a Discord, getting that built out. So
Same.
More details in the future.
Absolutely. Yeah. Discord's a
just want to have a little bit closer touch with people and
yeah,
easier to ask questions. And, I want to get to know everybody in the space now.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And then I know your content kind of you focus on a little bit of everything out there. I think yours is more, I don't know. I mean, I've seen all kinds of different things that you've done. You've done shorts, you've done interviews, you've done weekly updates. I mean, it seems you're covering a little bit of everything throughout the space.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying it, trying to find a groove. But yeah, I think I'm like in the one live stream a week. If I can do an interview with somebody that I want to have on, that's always great. And then just some short, 7 to 10 minute videos on a project that I think is worthy of evaluating. Yeah.
Same place. I mean,
chill take on everything. I mean, it's just very similar to our styles. That's why I think it worked out so well too, doing this podcast with you, because it's very similar to what we got going on over here. It's just an honest, laid back take on the Cardano universe. So I think that's really cool.
Exactly. Yeah, it just made same sense, place we're in, just enjoying our spot in the community and getting that one show a week is big. I'm like, same with us. We just want to stay consistent and have a schedule. I think it's one of the bigger parts. And just other than that, just kind of enjoying meeting people and figuring things out as it goes.
Yeah,
for sure.
Blake, do you get into any of the spaces on Twitter or anything like that as well?
I try to pop in. But yeah, like when I saw a Charles space and I was like, I gotta get in here and see what's going on. But yeah, I jump in on some.
Yeah, I know that's something that we're trying to do, because it's always like, we started off we're going to do one podcast a week. That's all this really is right now. And then it turns into, we got an interview, we got a this or that, and now we got a space. And it's just like, you keep adding on to different things, and you do it because you love it. And there's different, like talking about it, but it definitely does get like demanding stuff.
Sure.
If you ever feel kind of that burnout, because we definitely started to feel a little bit of a thing, but we have done good about keeping on schedule. It's just, it gets you a little bit sometimes.
Yeah. And I mean, no hate, but I feel like sometimes Twitter spaces can get just long-winded.
Yeah.
And so it feels like, wow, a lot of time. Like I have been in this Twitter space for an hour and a half, and I liked the conversation where it was going, but I was like, could I be more productive making a video or, doing something else like that? So that's, it's a hard balance.
Like I put it out to those guys because they're not, I'm sure we're all kind of learning these spaces. So they got to kind of moderate and control that space and then let some of their audience talk, but figuring out when they need to kind of steer. So I'm sure a lot of them are still figuring that stuff out and enjoying that. But I agree, sometimes it's like, come on, guys.
Well, it's your life stage too. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
married and have a kid, so it's like I don't have a lot of time as a So
preach, my man, preach.
So I mean, if I was a single guy, sure, I'd be in every Twitter.
100%, no problem.
I'd be feeling it. So, anyways,
Absolutely.
But different for everyone.
I fell asleep on the couch with my AirPod in.
There you go.
Listening to a Twitter space. Same thing. Yeah, just able to do that kind of stuff for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think for us, it's exciting times to be here in the CNFT space.
100%.
It's awesome to have a platform and be able to get to talk to people about this stuff who enjoy it as well. And it's even cooler now that we're getting to talk to other people who like to talk about it, and we're being able to collab with each other and even jump in. Because originally we were like, it'd be so cool to interview some of these guys, and then you see other people doing YouTube. It's like now we're sitting there talking to you guys as well. It's cool how everybody gets connected inside this community. So. I know there's a big space going on this Sunday too, which is a quick announcement on that. There's Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern, I believe. There's going to be a huge CNFT content creator, YouTubers, TikTokers, Twitter space. Everybody's going to be in there. So I think we're trying to pop in as well. And Blake, I think, are you jumping in that?
Yep.
So
that's the CNFT show.
Yep. Yeah. Shout out to him for organizing that. Yeah. Big shout out to him. So that's awesome, dude. Well, we'll have to definitely do this again. It's definitely fun, and we would love chatting with you, man. So appreciate you coming on, Blake, and we appreciate everybody listening. We'll catch you guys next week on Freedom 35ers.